Jesus Christ.
And I've seen those eyes before. If you guys see what I think I'm seeing.
Why did it just sound like somebody coughed?
Get away, what do you want? Hello, I can't see you.
What the?
On November 19th, 2024, deep within Snowdonia National Park in North Wales, Heather and his friends began their trek toward Dwllyn Bothy, a solitary stone shelter nestled between steep mountains and the dark, still waters of Llyn Dwllyn.
Sorry,
I'm excited now that we're here.
Where's Luna? We also got Luna today to join us.
The guard dog. You excited?
There's Luna. Yeah, she definitely looks excited. Oh, got everything. So as you can see, the car park where we parked is quite full. So we're a bit worried when we get there. We're going to be sharing the Bothy with other people.
Or walking back. Or car camping for the night. The three of us squished in the back.
Spirits were high as they arrived, joined by Luna, their guard dog, whose excitement matched the group's anticipation. The nearby car park was already crowded, raising concerns about how many others might end up sharing the shelter that night. The evening unfolded like a typical wild camping trip. Burritos cooked over an open fire, hands warmed by the flames, and laughter filled the small stone room as the group settled in.
While Sophie's eating her cold burritos, I'm warming mine up in a fire. We don't eat cold food out here. I'm cooking my burrito. How to try the burrito. Oh, oh, look at that. Look at the steam coming out.
I hope Luna's spotted there.
Can you smell the burrito, Luna? It's nice and warm.
One by one, more people arrived. Students, hikers, backpackers, until the Bothy was packed with warmth, noise, and conversation. The fire crackled constantly, and for a while, the place felt alive and welcoming. As the night went on, the mood began to shift.
Don't that look like a little goblin devil looking out the window? Well, door.
Yeah, it looks like a little goblin, doesn't it?
Like if I turn the light down.
Hey,
look at that.
I don't like that.
So can you explain again what you just found out about this Bothy since we've seen that picture?
According to ChatGPT, locals say that the lake is haunted and claim that sightings of strange lights and figures around the Bothy are common.
Oh my god.
Some say these lights are will-o'-the-wisps, spirits that lure travellers to the lake's dangerous waters. So yeah, there's quite a few things.
And you guys want to go up there now? After we just seen that picture?
Yeah, we were at Pendle Hill a few days ago.
Luna, literally before it happened, she was running around like being a normal dog. Now, she won't leave us. Well, look on the bright side. There is like 20 of us here. People camping outside.
A pale, motionless face stared in from the darkness, its features distorted and unnatural. Jokes were made about the Bothy looking haunted, and someone started reading local ghost stories aloud. The tales spoke of strange lights drifting across the lake, shadowy figures moving through the mist, and spirits said to lure travelers toward the water on foggy nights. What had been playful curiosity slowly turned into unease. For a moment, no one knew how to react. The room fell silent as people tried to make sense of what they were seeing. Explanations were offered, stories pulled from local lore, theories about will-o'-the-wisps, and the idea that the lake itself inspired hallucinations under the right conditions. What unsettled them most was Luna's reaction. Moments earlier, she had been moving freely around the room. Now she stood frozen, hair raised, eyes locked on the window. For the rest of the night, she refused to leave the group's side.
It's been I don't even know how to describe it now. Interesting experience.
My comment.
Interesting experience in this Bothy. Yeah, good night. Good morning. It's a beautiful morning here in the valleys in North Wales. So this is the Bothy that we stayed last night. As you can see, it is surrounded by mountains and reservoirs. I highly recommend this one.
No one spoke much after that. The fire continued to pop. The wind pressed against the stone walls, and whatever had been outside never returned. By morning, the valley was calm and bright, the Bothy surrounded once again by mountains and reservoirs under clear daylight. The group packed up and moved on, but the atmosphere of the place had changed. Whether what they saw was a trick of light, imagination fueled by stories, or something tied to the lake's long history remains unclear. But the question lingers. When a place carries centuries of stories, are they only legends or echoes waiting for the right moment to be noticed? Hold on a sec. If you're enjoying this so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's continue. Meet the creator behind the YouTube channel The Men's Life, known for conducting solo investigations in some of the most remote and unsettling locations imaginable. His work consistently pushes personal limits in an effort to document unexplained phenomena, from eerie sounds to whispered voices hidden in the dark. But on this night, a return to a notoriously haunted location would test his resolve more than ever before. He arrives once again at the Caribou Mines wildlands, an infamous ghost town long rumored to be home to a mysterious cryptid-like presence. This time he is completely alone, accompanied only by his dog, Kiki, preparing for a long and potentially dangerous overnight investigation.
We are back tonight at the Caribou Mines wildlands. This is a location where there is said to be a cryptid beast that resides. And this has been dating back from the early century. And today we're gonna take it on by ourselves. And by we, I mean me and my baby Kiki. 100% abandoned. Now that is the marker that officially brings us into the threshold of this ghost town. For those of you guys who are just peeking in now, never seen my channel, we actually did 2 videos here. I came here solo and then I came here with Chill the other time. But this location is an abandoned gold mining town. There was so much gold produced here. This spot produced the second most gold in all of the province in its time, dating all the way back to the late 1800s.
The site is entirely abandoned, marked by a threshold that signals entry into a forgotten mining settlement. As he explains the history, the location's past becomes clear. Caribou Mines was once a thriving gold mining town, responsible for producing one of the highest gold yields in the region during its peak. Countless workers lived and died here, leaving behind what many believe to be lingering residual energy. Having visited before, the investigator understands the risks, but remains unprepared for what is about to unfold. As dusk settles, he sets up camp, and the stillness is broken the moment he activates a spirit box. What begins as an attempt to communicate with former miners quickly turns disturbing.
May I touch you?
Whoa, no! No, you may not. May I
I'm
touch you?
afraid to talk.
You may not touch. What the? You may not touch me, man. I'm sorry. May I touch you? I'm afraid to talk.
Clear, disembodied responses emerge from the static, referencing physical contact and ritualistic behavior, immediately shifting the tone of the investigation. The activity escalates rapidly. The device issues warnings, urging caution and referencing nearby burial grounds. Moments later, the tension peaks when an unseen force physically knocks an object at the campsite.
Jesus Christ. What the f was that? What the? You fucking serious right now?
Look, I'm here.
Jesus. Who are you? What the? Yo, something's going on. Somebody just pushed this off the thing. I'm gonna lose it. I'm literally gonna lose it.
Can you see us?
No?
At that point, it becomes clear this is no longer limited to voices or sound. It is something capable of interacting with the physical environment. Seeking safety, he retreats into his tent. But the terror intensifies as violent impacts slam against the fabric, as though something invisible is attempting to force its way inside.
What's up? Literally, what the fuck? No one's there. What the fuck? Yo, no one's there. literally looking out and no one's there, and it's going on as we speak.
Despite repeatedly checking the surroundings, nothing can be seen. The banging continues without explanation, confirming that whatever is present cannot be visually identified. When the disturbance finally stops, he gathers the courage to investigate. Outside the tent, he discovers a disturbing print pressed into his equipment case. Large, oddly shaped, and unlike anything he can easily explain. It appears to be physical evidence left behind by whatever had been tormenting him moments earlier. Although he eventually leaves the Caribou Mines wildlands, the encounter leaves a lasting impression. Threatening voices, physical aggression, and unexplained marks blur the line between a haunted location and something far more dangerous. Whether this was an intelligent paranormal presence, an unknown creature, or a combination of both remains unclear. But one question lingers. What truly inhabits this abandoned ghost town, and why does it seem determined to drive visitors away? Meet the creator behind the YouTube channel, The Northwest Wind, an avid outdoorsman who documents his stealth camping adventures in secluded off-trail locations. His videos usually reflect quiet nights in nature, simple escapes meant to disconnect from the world. But on this particular outing, he would learn how quickly isolation can turn dangerous when the silence of the woods is broken by an unwelcome human presence. The trip began routinely at a local park, where he planned to leave the marked trails and find a hidden place to spend the night. He knew camping there wasn't permitted, but the challenge of stealth camping was part of the appeal.
It just blows my mind that time has gone by so fast. Tonight, we're camping at a local park, dog park, walking trails, hiking trails. I'm gonna go off the trail into the woods. We're camping stealthily because everyone's always like, why not stealth camp at a campground or a park or something? So that's what I'm doing. So that was the end of the official trail. There's all kinds of unofficial trails that go all through these woods. It's a couple hundred acres. Don't think you're allowed to camp back here, but I'm not camping. I'm just gonna lay my head for the night in a stealthy way. And it's like humid from all this rain. My sausages are sweaty. Always have to come back for the camera now. Of course, I dropped it in the snow. That's always good too. I love dropping my camera in the snow. We're gonna bushwhack a little bit. We've been walking for about 15 minutes.
After hiking deeper into the forest, he bushwhacked his way toward what seemed like a flat, secluded clearing suitable for a small bivvy tent. Just as he believed he had found the perfect spot, he came across something unsettling, the torn remains of an old tent and tarp. The discovery immediately changed the atmosphere. Someone had clearly camped there before, but the condition of the abandoned gear raised questions about who they were and why the site had been left behind so abruptly.
What do you know? This looks like a tent or a tarp. That kind of sketches me out. So that's the remains of a tent and a tarp. That means somebody's camped back here before. Now, it could have just been some young punks smoking dope, or it could have been like an Asian Tony type character, maybe Asian Tony himself. That kind of sketches me out. I don't like the vibe I got seeing that.
Despite the unease, he continued setting up camp. As dusk fell, a thick fog rolled through the trees, and a persistent feeling of being watched set in. He tried to ignore it while preparing dinner, reminding himself that the park was public, though he was far from the main trails. Still, the sensation followed him, heavy and constant.
I don't know what it is here, but I keep feeling like somebody's watching me, and it's like very, very strong feeling, like hair on the back of my neck standing up. I don't know. I just keep feeling like I'm being watched or something, though. I don't know. There are people around for sure. It's a very public park area, but I'm off the main trails by a ways. It's also very dead back here and foggy too. I don't know if the camera picks up the fog, but there's fog rolling in like everywhere. It's just kind of...
Later that night, inside his tent, the situation escalated. Footsteps approached, very close. He listened carefully and realized there were two people nearby, whispering to each other just outside his shelter. When he called out, there was no response.
There's somebody, hang on. I don't know if they could see it or not through the tent. I don't think so. I'm leaning right up against the light, but somebody's walking around out there very close to the tent.
Somebody's definitely walking around out there, though. Hang on. I don't want to leave the light on in case they could see in here. I think the fly is thick enough that they can't see the light, but still, I'm leaning right up against the lantern, so you can only just barely see my face.
Moments later, hands pressed against the tent, followed by forceful pulling that collapsed it on top of him. In panic, he escaped the tent and ran, leaving all his gear behind. Cigarette smoke lingered in the air as he caught brief glimpses of two figures standing over his campsite.
Okay, they're walking away now. What do you want? I have a knife. Get away, what do you want? Hello, I can't see you. Say something, I see you. They collapsed my tent on me. I don't know which way they went. I think they went this way. I see you. Get away! All right, I'm spooked. I don't like this. Get my headlamp on and we're getting out of here right now. They're just standing there. Leave me alone! They collapsed my tent on me and pulled the fly off while I was still in there. Someone's smoking a cigarette too. I smell your cigarette! We're going. I'll come back for this some other time.
He fled through the dark forest, falling repeatedly, until he reached a clearing and saw a light moving toward him. That was enough to send him sprinting back to his car. The next morning, he cautiously returned to retrieve his belongings. His fears were confirmed when he found his campsite disturbed. Tent stakes pulled out and his dry bag opened. This wasn't a coincidence or a harmless prank. Someone had intentionally interfered with his gear. Though he escaped physically unharmed, the psychological impact lingered. Who were those people, and why did they target him? Were they simply trying to scare him away, or was something more dangerous avoided by sheer timing? Encounters like this raise an unsettling question. When stealth camping goes wrong, is the real threat ever the wilderness itself, or the people hiding within it? On March 20th, 2018, during a cold, rainy night at Poco Lake in Indiana, solo camper Austin Armstrong arrived expecting nothing more than isolation, damp air, and the steady comfort of a campfire.
I just went out in the middle of nowhere at this campground at Potoka Lake in Indiana. I'm the only one out here. Obviously, it's kind of cold and it's projected to get colder and it's raining. But I like a challenge whenever I camp, and I've camped in much worse weather conditions than this. So I figured, yeah, why not? So here's my little site right there.
The campground was empty, the weather worsening, but Austin welcomed the challenge, setting up his small site alone and preparing to make the most of the night. Hours passed as the rain eased and the fire burned low. Wearing a headlamp, Austin stepped toward the dark tree line to gather more wood.
So I got these logs here, and they're dry, but you can't just start a fire with just logs, you know? So you have to have all these like small sticks to get started. Well, everything's wet. So I'm trying to get it up and getting these small sticks and stuff burning. Once I can do that, then I can put this log back on, because I had it burning sort of earlier. Oh, this is a task, let me tell you. But the rain is... so it was mostly wet. What the... I don't know if you guys just heard that, but like... something literally just went boom over there. Holy crap. Yo, check it out. I don't see anything. Hello? I'm trying to find a rational explanation too. Like, maybe it was the wood. But I don't...
The task was routine, checking the ground, breaking down damp branches, and moving between the fire and the surrounding woods while the distant outline of the campground remained barely visible. Everything felt ordinary, even peaceful. That calm shattered without warning. A single explosive boom echoed through the forest, far too loud and heavy to be a snapping twig or falling branch. Austin froze as the sound lingered, deliberate and close. He scanned the darkness with his flashlight, but the trees offered nothing back. No movement, no reflection, just silence. Then came another sound, sharper and deeper, like something shifting its weight or climbing nearby.
Okay, this is better. Come on, surely there's not something out here right now. I will be upset. Hello? Oh my god. I would be so upset if there's something out here right now. That was a very large boom and snap. It sounded like there was something like climbing through something. So it could have been an animal. I'm praying to God that it was something collapsing in the fire. But it was very, very loud. I guess you guys, maybe you guys...
The noise felt intentional, too fast and forceful to dismiss easily. Austin tried to rationalize it, hoping it came from collapsing firewood, but the scale of the sound didn't match.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go back on my way now. I hope to God something's not out here right now. Alright, so here's an update. Well, the fire's doing really well, or was, up until this point. And then the rain started again. So, it's great. This is why I came out here, I guess, is, challenge the camping and just be away and just, I don't know. It's not a good idea. Still don't know what the big boom thing was. I've been keeping the music on my phone going. Keeps my mind off of it. I don't know. It probably was just a fire, I hope. That's what I keep telling myself.
The forest felt different now, as if it were watching him instead. He searched the area cautiously and found nothing. No animals, no obvious cause, only a fallen sign and a growing sense that something unseen had been present all along. Returning to camp, the rain began again, dampening the fire and his confidence. To steady his nerves, he kept music playing, trying to push away the lingering unease. The night continued, but the question remained unanswered. Whether the sound was a large animal, shifting debris, or something harder to explain is unclear. What is certain is how quickly solitude turned unsettling. So if you were alone in the woods and heard something that powerful moving just beyond the light, would you stay? And would you ever feel truly alone out there again? Meet Franco, the fearless creator behind the YouTube channel Franco TV, known for exploring some of the world's most mysterious and dangerous locations. His content focuses on places most people deliberately avoid, documenting abandoned sites, forbidden areas, and environments steeped in fear through a raw, immersive approach. But during one investigation in an Argentinian forest, Franco and his companion Claudio would learn that some locations are not meant to be disturbed. On a hot, humid evening, Franco returned to a forest infamous for witchcraft, ritual activity, and a troubling number of missing person cases. Claudio joined him to provide backup as they prepared to spend the entire night deep inside the restricted woods. As daylight faded, the forest's reputation weighed heavily on the investigation.
I made it with Claudio. Claudio, ¿qué tal? Hola. Right now we're going to be going into the forest and we're going to be going deeper into there. I just waited for him to get back, but it is starting to get nightfall and the time is now 5:52. On top of that, we also found out that there's a bunch of missing people that go on missing through this whole forest. Wow, that's dangerous. The thing is, that's kind of dangerous because at the same time, at night, I probably wouldn't have seen that. I could probably slip in there and fall. But I don't know what that's connected to. So a lot of this just goes to show you that the forest just keeps going on and on. The things that he was finding out about this place as far as missing people go. They are skeptical and thinking that maybe it could have been, what do you call that? They probably used people for like sacrificial stuff. And that's probably why they went missing. This is more like a missing 411 kind of location.
Almost immediately, the terrain revealed its dangers. Just off the main path, they discovered a massive concealed pit, deep enough to seriously injure or kill anyone who wandered into it after dark. The forest felt endless and unforgiving, reinforcing local theories that some missing individuals may have vanished under darker circumstances tied to ritual practices. As they pushed deeper, disturbing signs of human presence became more frequent. Discarded bags, old shoes, and clothing hung from trees, suggesting deliberate activity rather than random litter. The sounds of the forest began to change as well, with distant voices and a sudden loud impact indicating they were no longer alone. At one point, Franco explored a narrow trail by himself while Claudio remained nearby. The deeper he went, the more confined the forest felt, until he witnessed a large black figure moving swiftly between the trees before disappearing completely.
Holy shit. Look what I finally found. I don't know if you guys ever read Reddit stories about creepy stuff, but there's stories about staircases that are found in the woods and you're not supposed to go near them. And if you see the staircases, you are to walk away because weird things will start happening. Could put you in a different place or something. But look at this. This looks like it was just teleported here in the middle of the fucking forest.
Shaken, he could not determine whether what he saw was a person or something else entirely. The night took a darker turn when they encountered a perfectly formed concrete staircase standing alone in the middle of the forest, leading nowhere. The structure appeared completely out of place, echoing stories often associated with unexplained phenomena in remote woodlands.
And then you got this weird stuff. Look at this. There's like feathers. So there's feathers in this cup, and then right inside there is wrapped with string and rope. That could be witchcraft. Could very well be, but this is where they do a lot of sacrifices, is right here.
Shortly after, they returned to a Virgin Mary shrine that had originally drawn Franco to the area, discovering offerings, money, and clear signs of ritual activity, including feathers tightly bound with string. As darkness fully settled, the atmosphere grew heavy. Branches snapped nearby, signaling that their presence had been noticed.
The fire we got going on here. It was really muggy and humid. But the good news is that this fire...
They built a small fire, hoping it would provide some sense of protection. But instead it seemed to draw attention. A piercing scream echoed through the forest, followed by unsettling silence, then whistling and faint singing drifting from deep within the darkness.
You heard a scream? ¿Escuchaste un grito? Sí. Oh, sí, yo lo escuché. ¿También? Sí. So we just heard another scream from the... See, I'm thinking we're gonna have to turn off the light because the fire, because it might be calling people over here. See, there is someone singing right now out in the dark. You just saw eyes glowing, and I've seen those eyes before. If you guys see what I think I'm seeing, hold on, I'm gonna use my other camera here. Switching to my psionics. If you see eyes glowing, I've seen that somewhere else. ¿Qué es eso? I just heard something to my left here. Oh, this is fucking creepy. Oh, yo lo tengo,
Children want to speak.
There we go. Okay.
She's coming.
¿Vio algo? Sí. He just saw something. Hola?
Footsteps began moving closer to their camp, and Claudio reported seeing glowing eyes watching from the tree line. By 4 a.m., with the activity growing increasingly aggressive, they decided to leave. Though they escaped unharmed, the experience left unsettling questions behind. Were the sounds connected to missing people, hidden locals, or something far older tied to the forest itself? In places where human danger and the unknown overlap, survival may be the only victory. On August 25, 2025, deep in the remote wilderness of northern Ontario, a camper named Angelo set up a solo camp beside a perfectly still, mirror-like lake. The location was isolated and quiet, the kind of place where nothing moves unless it has a reason to.
Let me tell you, it's kind of cold now. It's only like 17 degrees Celsius. And what is that? There's something in the road there. Looks like nothing. Yeah, the roads getting in and out are a little bit feisty, so we gotta take it easy. Mind how we drive in here. So we just do gotta be cautious of, leaving food around and stuff like that. And then obviously we gotta be cautious of moose, because they're also out here, apparently. Confirmed by the locals. I wasn't expecting that. I've literally... But yeah, it's been pretty quiet. I mean, I've been recording, but haven't really been getting anything.
The night began normally. A small campfire crackled, the bench beneath him creaked, and dinner turned into an overcooked mistake he immediately regretted. The air was colder than expected, and the rough roads leading in and out of the area reminded him to move carefully in such an unforgiving environment. As the evening went on, only ordinary tasks filled the time. He adjusted his tarp, tended the fire, rinsed his plate, and reminded himself to keep food secured. Locals had warned him about wildlife in the area, especially moose, and the forest seemed unusually quiet despite the constant recording. That silence eventually broke. A faint cough echoed from behind him, followed by light movement in the trees.
Why did it just sound like somebody coughed? Hello? That was fucking weird. Somebody back there? Legit sounded like it was behind me. Let me see if I hear something. I'm getting pretty lucky right now. Okay. Somebody just clapped again. Who's there? Bushes.
Leo.
Who the hell is Leo? Alright, I'm gonna go check. Hello? Like, it legit sounded like it was right back there. The fuck could that have been? Like, it sounded...
He turned quickly, shining his flashlight into the darkness, but found nothing. Only cold air drifting off the lake. The sounds returned soon after. Soft knocking, light claps, and a sharp whistle cut through the night. A nearby device suddenly crackled and spoke a single name, repeating it as if carried by the wind. Moments later, rocks shifted nearby, as though something heavy had moved just out of view. Unease took over. Angelo paced near the fire with his rifle, convinced he was being watched from the tree line. The noises felt closer each time, circling just beyond the reach of the firelight without ever revealing their source.
If we have a good connection to Starlink as well. But yeah, I just want to give you one more good view of the lake. It is so foggy this morning. It's crazy, super eerie. I didn't really hear anything else throughout the night, but yeah, this spot is creepy. So what I think I'm gonna do, there's another lake.
By morning, thick fog blanketed the lake. He packed up quietly, shaken but unharmed. Whatever lingered near the campsite never showed itself, and never truly left either. Whether the sounds were wildlife, environmental echoes, or something far more unsettling remains unclear. But if you had heard those noises in total isolation, would you have stayed until dawn, or left the moment the forest answered back? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.